So about a month ago, I was waking up from a deep sleep when I got a text message. It was from my wife. She said in the text message, "Come help me. I can't move." Now, I didn't know where she was, and that's all the message said. She wasn't in the house, and so I assumed she was outside. Now, I know this is the wrong time of day to film this with the sun kind of coming up in the clouds behind me, but that is my backyard out there. And she was somewhere out in the backyard. And when I texted her back saying, "Where are you?" I didn't get anything in response. So I go running out into the backyard and I'm shouting for her. I'm shouting, I'm shouting, I'm shouting. No response. Now, while it might look big, you're looking at about, I have 10 acres. So what you're looking at out here before the starts going up is about 6 acres or so. And I pretty much covered about 5 of those acres that would be back where the trails are. No response. I'm shouting, I'm yelling, I'm shouting, I'm yelling. And then finally, when I was covering the last acre, there she was hobbling on the trail. She had just destroyed her ankle on something, and it's been weeks and it's still not back to normal. And it kind of woke me up a little bit. Here was someone who was very close to me. An acre is not, acre is the size of a football field. And within that acre, you think that if you were shouting, that the other person would be able to hear you. And she was unable to. And it really got me thinking about my emergency preparedness when I go backpacking and how I have ditched bringing a piece of gear that I always used to bring as a kid and a young adult, and I've stopped bringing years ago, and that is a whistle. Now, I know that a lot of the backpacks now have that little whistle on the sternum strap. I've tried the one that I have on, and yeah, it does make a whistle, but I don't know how loud it actually is. And so what I've decided to do is to actually add a whistle to my backpacking kit. And I am going to test it today with you. So I bought the SOL, that's the Survive Outdoors Longer. I don't know exactly all the things they make, but I own a bivy that is made by this company that I really like. It's a lightweight bivy. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to keep this camera running. I'm going to go way back in the woods, blow the whistle, and see if you can hear it. I'll also show you the setup. I don't have any super duper, shotgun mic setup for filming this. And so I think this would pretty much be close to a human ear, maybe. So I'm going to take one whistle out. I'm going to take it in the back and go and blow it. Let me show you where I'm going. All right, let me get here. I am going to go and climb that tree right there. So if you do hear the whistle, I will be at the top of that tree. I'm not going to be from the top of that tree. I'm actually going to go down, and if I can, it's kind of hard to see. Where's my finger? I am going to be around the corner over there. So I'm going to come down and go around the corner. My best guess is that I would probably be close to 400 to 500 yards away from where I'm standing right now. Now, one of the things you notice is that this goes way down. Obviously, we're above the tops of the trees. My property has some really strange sound things that go on. There is a house, if I could point it out, there is a house in those trees right over there. And last summer when they were getting their roof done, I was able to hear the conversation of the roofers. Obviously they were yelling back and forth to one another, but I was able to at points make out entire sentences. On the other hand, when we first moved in, I was straight down below and my wife was maybe 40 feet to my left, and I was screaming up to her. I wanted her to throw me a hammer down because there's no real straight route. You have to kind of sweep around, so it's a pain in the neck to come up and get a piece of gear if you need it. And I'm screaming, and she couldn't hear me at all. So even though it seems like, all right, it's kind of a straight shot, for whatever reason, when you're down below, sound doesn't really readily make it back up to where we are right here. So it's a pretty good test. All right, so I am gonna take one whistle down with me. I'm gonna leave this camera running, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we're heading down. Goats are up on the hill, if you can see them. Now, one of the reasons why I ditched bringing the whistle is because it was my theory that I live in the Northeast. Pretty much wherever I go, I'm close to a road, I'm close to people, and for the most part, if you just stay in one place for long enough, someone will eventually come. And after this experience with my wife, I really realized how stupid that was. And you can definitely find yourself in a situation where you don't want to wait 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. And so the more and more I think about that, my decision to not bring some kind of emergency signaling device just seems more and stupider. Let's go this way. For those of you that watched the video in which I talked about the tornado in my backyard, that's what I'm going around right now. It used to be just forest and open underneath it, under the canopy it was open, and I was able to just run right across my yard. But now there are thousands of prickers and thousands of black birch trees growing up. All right, we are almost back in the back corner. This is my old phone. Image stabilization is not on. And this is pretty amazing that you are still with me. You know why you're with me? And I'm including this. It's kind of like an unboxing video. Your mirror neurons are kicking in. You are now with me, running on the trail. We are one viewer and YouTube creator. You are heading out to the wilderness with me. Roots. All right, we are almost there. Actually, if I keep all this in here, it kind of gives you a sense of how far away this is. All right, getting close. Here's my wood pile. Yes, that wood pile gets brought up by wheelbarrow all the way back up to my house for the winter. And hey, look, another wood pile. All right, we are almost to the corner of the property. Now, if you are using a whistle in the wilderness, I believe the international signal is one whistle is one blow of the whistle is I don't know if is here I am. One is actually, let's just do this. Basically, 2 blows of a whistle is here I am. 1, I forgot what that means. 3 is it's an emergency. All right, I'm gonna do this. Here we go. Let's stop there. All right, since 3 blows of the whistle is emergency, I don't want anyone to interpret a series of 3 as an emergency. So I am going to head back up and we'll check the camera. All right, and just before I turn it off, let me just show you the setup to give you some sense of quality. So that is an LG G8 phone with, what the heck is that name? Boy, it is really hot. Morovo, that's not it. But anyway, you can see this is not some really expensive, a Movi, what the heck is it? It is Movo, that's what it is. a Movo little shotgun mic attached to it. So not a very elaborate setting. Let's go inside and see if you were able to hear the whistle. All right, so I stitched all the video together on the computer and listened for the whistle. And so you've already obviously seen that part. And if you didn't hear the whistle, you can go back, and if you turn up the volume really loud, if you have good speakers, you can hear the whistle just a little tiny bit. And so I do want to say that I did not mess with the audio at all. It is all set at a level in which if I was just talking like this, it would be an appropriate volume in the video editing software. Right now, I'm not using the good microphone anymore, so this volume might be a little bit off. But I think the settings that I used were appropriate for the test. So you can actually hear it just a little tiny bit. But here's the shocking thing for me, and that is right outside those, or right inside those windows, like 2 feet away from those open windows, my wife is doing some work, and she didn't hear the whistle at all. And as a matter of fact, I even told her, like, don't be alarmed, I'm going to go blow the whistle. So she was kind of like listening for it, and she didn't hear it at all. So it was picked up ever so slightly on the mic, but not heard by my wife right on the other side of those windows. Now there's a fan that is blowing in the room, but hey, I think, if you're walking down the trail and you're having a conversation with someone, you should be able to hear a whistle over that. So the whistle, again, it's the Survive Outdoors Longer. It's the Rescue Howler. It says it's 110 decibels. It could be heard over 1 mile. And I don't know, as far as my test goes, I certainly wasn't 1 mile. And I know for a fact, 110 decibels, I'm not sure what a chainsaw is. I forgot what a chainsaw is. But I know if you saw that wood pile, when I'm chainsawing in that corner, I know that my wife can hear the chainsaw clearly, so she knows like where in the property I am. So I'm not so confident in this whistle anymore, and maybe I'll try a different one. If you have a different whistle, I'd like a suggestion. But I guess with a lot of these rescue sort of things, you kind of buy it, but you never really know how well does it work. And so for this test, to be 400 or 500 yards away and not even be able to really be heard, and even on the video recording, I really had to listen carefully. And I bet you that most of you just figured you couldn't even hear it. But if you do go back, you can hear a little tiny bit. So there you go. There's the test of the Survive Outdoors Longer Rescue Howler Whistle.